In last week's video here on the Very Unofficial Travel Guides, we talked about all the things on board that cost extra, from sunbeds to day beds to restaurants. And today we're docking in Coco Cay, or a perfect day at Coco Cay, which is Royal Caribbean's private island. Our neighbors are going to be the Utopia of the seas. That would mean there could be over 10,000 cruisers all on this small island at one time. Let's go check this out. Way back. I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. I've been making travel videos for over 15 years of popular and not so popular tourist destinations to give you a very honest, unofficial look at what it's like to be there. And I've also written 2 books full of stories of true things that have happened to me around the world, including fun and practical travel tips. Getting Stitches on a Cruise Ship and Places Please are available on Amazon now. By the way, as far as I know, you can't get towels on the island unless you have like some kind of cabana or casita or something like that. I was wrong about the towels. But shortly before you leave the ship by the gangway, there's a towel station. You just need to show your key card and then you can check out a couple of towels. This is the feeling that I like to call Cruise Ship Canyon. When you're between 2 of the biggest cruise ships in the world, it feels like you're walking through a canyon. What do you think? Does that adequately describe this view, this feeling? It feels like cliffs of cruise ship on both sides. As we're coming around the corner here, we can see the perfect day sign and some of the attractions, the hot air balloon, the crazy water slides. The first time I visited this island was on the Monarch of the Seas. That'll tell you how long ago it was. And none of these things were here. It still felt like a deserted tropical paradise and not like the theme park that it feels like now. And the last time I was here, which was almost exactly a year ago, what I did is I took the original video that I made from back when it was just like a deserted island paradise, and I walked around and compared what was there back then to what is there now. And I found that just to be a fascinating look at the past compared to the present. I'll try to remember to link that video in the description. And I also talked about the costs of certain things on the island, like the cost to enter the water park, the cost for the overwater cabanas and things like that. Of course, those can be different on every cruise. They change over time, and I think depending on what ship you're on. And I'll try to link those videos as well. If I don't, somebody please remind me. Okay, it's shortly before noon, and this is the situation at Captain Jack's, which is a bar that also has a small food outlet that is not included in the price of the cruise. Looks like there's plenty of seats to grab. There is no line at the Wings and Fries food outlet. By the way, this is what they offer, and this is what it costs. And I think this area overlooking the bay is like, you know, that's like A1 prime spots. And there's even some free spots here, by the way. In that video I was telling you about where I compared old to the new, the place where the tender boats used to dock is right over here. And now it's either there where that bridge is, or it's there where the zip line ends. There didn't used to be a pier here. You had to take a tender boat over, and it docked someplace right over there. Let's take a look here at Splashaway Bay. This is a kids splash and play area. Here it does look like just about every chair I can see has been reserved, but the actual play area doesn't seem crowded to me. Plenty of opportunities to splash and play, but at the moment, not really any place to put your stuff. Looks like fun. Oh, there's a tiny little kids water park here in the back. I didn't see this the last time I was here. And doesn't look like there's huge lines up there to wait to slide, so that's pretty nice. All right, coming around the corner here is a place I want to go for lunch. There it is. It's called Skipper's Grill, and they have the typical barbecue stuff like salads, burgers, hot dogs, but they also have tacos and quesadillas. Yes, I know I'm saying that wrong. I'm trying to be funny. I do see some empty tables over here. There are a lot of tables filled. And I mean, it is lunchtime. This is going to be probably the fullest it will be. So this is probably a pretty good judge. And as always, if you can trick your stomach into eating lunch at like 11 o'clock or 1:30, it's going to be way less crowded than this. And look at this, even though it's like prime lunchtime and there are quite a few people here, I still got like a first row ocean view seat. well, water view seat. I mean, this is water from the ocean. You know what I mean. I got some bean and cheese tacos here with some jalapenos, guacamole, cilantro, salsa. Cannot complain. Are you team cilantro or team no cilantro? Finished lunch. It's 12:30 and I'm gonna go take a look at some of the other beach situations here. This is Skipper Grill where I had lunch. I was sitting out there on that patio, and here you can see for this bay, it looks like there are some seats in the last row still available and maybe sort of in between. Definitely looks like there are some options at this time of day, and I think one reason that people like to go swimming here is it's like an enclosed bay, so there's no waves. And I also think that if you look under the bridge, it looks like they have a net across the water so that no sea life can get in there, and I know that's an issue for a lot of people. By the way, I was wrong about the towels. There's a towel station right here, and over here on the other side of this bay there are plenty of chairs left. Oasis Lagoon, which is a gigantic freshwater pool. You can see in the pool there are quite a bit of swimmers, and as I walk around here, it does look like most of the chairs are taken. There's nobody in them, but there's stuff on them. And yeah, you know, there's a difference between people getting up at like 6 in the morning, putting their stuff on a chair, and then going back to bed to use it much later in the day. But when you're coming over here to the island, like, you gotta put your stuff someplace. I don't think it's that big of a deal that there's so much stuff on chairs here without people sitting in them, because I think that's different than reserving a chair and then going to do something else. I'm assuming that most of these chairs are reserved by people who are actually here doing something right now. This pool is very big. By the way, the seagulls on this island are vicious. Please don't leave your food sitting out, and absolutely do not feed the seagulls here or anywhere. Walked around the corner here to Breezy Bay, another beach area. You can see this is where I am on the map right now. There is a hot game of volleyball happening over here. It looks like both teams are full, and there's some people standing around either waiting to jump in or just as spectators. Over here you can see these are the overwater cabanas that are ridiculously expensive for the day that you're here. I'm talking thousands of dollars. And next to me here, there are a lot of free chairs. I'm kind of surprised, and I've talked about this before, how many people come here and then go swimming in the pool and not in the ocean. A lot of people mentioned in the comments to the videos where I've said that the pool has no jellyfish and nothing to step on and cut your foot open. Not that that's ever happened to me. But yeah, I just, I feel like for me personally, when I have the opportunity to swim in the ocean, then I want to swim in the ocean. There are even some chairs in the first row that I can see that are empty here. So yeah, even though there's like probably 10,000 or more people here today, there are still options. I'm over here at the Chill Grill now, and it's much more crowded over here than it was at the Skipper's Grill, and they basically offer all the same food. You can see here it's way more chaotic. There's a lot more people grabbing food at this moment. There are still some free seats, but it looks like they're all in the sun. On this side over here, also some free seats, and I think you can just about always get a place if you're willing to share your table with somebody else. I never mind sharing my table with somebody else. If somebody wants to sit down with me, I'm usually pretty cool with that. I'm really surprised over here by the snorkeling area by Chill Beach, where they have these little coves that they've built up and where they also feed the fish so that there's tons of fish swimming around. There's really hundreds of empty chairs over here, so that's kind of surprising to me. The last 2 times I was here, including the first time long ago and last time, this beach was the fullest, and now it seems to be, well, at least right now, there's plenty of free spaces. I'm now gonna walk all the way over to the other side of the island, to South Beach. The first time I was here, that was called Barefoot Beach. That was my, like, insider tip for the best beach to go to when you get to the island, because when we were here, there was nobody there. It seriously was like our own private beach. And now the secret's out. It's definitely not going to be like that now, but let's see how crowded it is at 1:30 on a day when there's an Oasis class and an Icon class ship in port. A lot of the paths on the island are now this paved path, which is of course much easier to walk on, and especially if you have mobility issues and are in something with wheels, this is of course way better than just a sand path. And I'm pretty sure the first time I was here, it was only sand. But that's kind of one of the fun things about the beach I'm going to now, is you have to go through kind of like a adventure path through the jungle to get there. There appears to be a lot of people leaving South Beach at the moment. I wonder what they know that I don't know. And this is what I mean. This is the treacherous jungle adventure path you have to walk on to get to South Beach. It's nice and shady and does still give you some of that like deserted island feeling that used to be the total vibe on the island before they turned it into an amusement park. But yeah, it is a long walk over here. It is a little bit later in the afternoon now. I'm assuming a lot of people may have already gone back to the ship. I mean, it's shortly past 1 o'clock. But there are places in the 4th, 5th, 6th row here that are still empty or empty again. And I'm assuming the further I walk down, the further away from like the center of the island, the emptier it's probably going to get. Mostly probably because people just don't want to walk down that far, and I am one of those people. There's sports opportunities over here. There's one bar here just past these volleyball courts. It's the Snack Shack. When I was here last summer, the line here at the Snack Shack went from the windows up here all the way back there. I'm not sure if there's just less people here now or if the lunch rush is over or hasn't started yet, but this is definitely way different than it was last summer. And I might just have to get me some mozzarella sticks. I will admit, while I'm sitting here in the shade and the sweat is dripping down me, that hot, deep-fried cheese might not be the best snack right now, but I'm from the Midwest, so I think it's kind of on brand. Cheese. I probably just lost like 5 subscribers because of that. At this point, I was so hot and sweaty, I decided to take the complimentary tram back to the main part of the island, so I didn't have that far to walk, even though I do enjoy that jungle path. And taking the tram from South Beach over to the main transportation hub kind of takes you on paths behind the scenes on the island, so you get to see some of the water slides and zip lines from a different angle, and it was just nice to sit down and feel the breeze through my hair as we coasted back to where the pier meets the island. And from there, it is still, depending on how much you like to walk, a kind of long walk to get back to the ship, but you will have this perfect photo opportunity with the name of the ship, and I mean, come on. You gotta do it. I was surprised. I thought it would be way more crowded on the island. I know that here on the Star of the Seas, we are not at maximum capacity. The number I read is that we have around 5,100 passengers. And I don't know how many were on the Utopia. Like, maximum capacity of both of these ships together is around like 13,000 people, I think. So potentially, that could be like a lot of people. Honestly, I didn't feel like it was that bad. I hope you're enjoying this series from the Star of the Seas. I've been having a great time on board showing you around. If you want to see more about the cabin, more about the ship, check out my library, make sure you're subscribed, and I hope to see you back here soon. I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. Bye-bye.